It's not really a huge surprise when we see NBA fans complain about officiating, with a feeling like almost every game there's at least one or two controversial calls. But seeing actual NBA players or NBA coaches complain is a little bit different. With there being obvious differences in the penalties and fines that a player or coach can give for complaining, it's rare that we see this happen. Not to mention, these are professionals who obviously have a lot more respect for the officiating crew than maybe your average Boston Celtics fan. But what we have seen recently from the NBA staff and players is absolutely insane. Like the amount of complaining we have seen, it feels like we have never seen this much before, at least in this short amount of time. With just last night being the most recent incident, with Mike Brown getting ejected from the game, and you can clearly see how angry he was in the clip I'm showing you right now. I mean, look at Malik Monk holding on for dear life. It was just crazy. But in his post-game press conference, everything he said was valid, starting with him actually bringing out an entire laptop to show everyone this play, where he talks about how Fox simply put his hand onto Dame, didn't push, didn't shove, just placed his hand and got called for the foul, giving the Bucks 3 free throws. And if you see how close this game was, those 3 free throws mattered a lot. So yeah, it's completely understandable that this call made Mike Brown upset, but this wasn't the play that made Mike Brown go absolutely ballistic on the officials, because Mike also goes over this play right here, where you can clearly see Campaign hook onto De'Aaron Fox's arm, almost causing Fox to fall over. Mike also went on to talk about how Brook Lopez got away with a lot of defensive plays that should have been called as fouls, or to him, it felt like when Sabonis does what Brook Lopez was doing, he gets called for a foul, but Brook isn't getting called. Does that make sense? But you know what Mike Brown did best in this situation? He accepted that the officials were humans. They make mistakes. They're not always going to get the right call. The only thing he really said, the only critique he made towards the officials was that he wants consistency and communication. He also said that in this game, he felt the communication was there, but the consistency wasn't. Which once again goes back to the entire Brook Lopez and Sabonis thing, with him feeling like Brook Lopez was not getting called for what Sabonis gets called for. It's just not consistent, which is something that we all saw Raptors head coach Darko get very upset about, and rightfully so. I think if I had to watch the other team shoot 23 free throws in the fourth quarter and my team only got 2, I would be just as upset if I was up on that podium. I do also want to say, on a quick side note, for that game, a lot of the free throws that you see in just the box score were from just dead time when the Raptors decided to foul to try to get back into the game. So it wasn't that insane when you look at the numbers on the box score. It's more about the Raptors not getting calls than it is the Lakers getting too many calls. I feel like that was something that was very misinterpreted on this game. So I feel like I just wanted to kind of clear that up, or at least say that that's how I felt about the game. But how does the NBA fix this? It seems like the fans have always been complaining about the officials, and you know, every now and then you would get your comment from the coaches or players, but things are just seeming to get really out of hand now. There have been a ton of recommendations on how to fix this, with some people recommending AI and smarter technology, maybe even replacing human officials and only putting in cameras and camera operators, which isn't a shocking suggestion. I mean, we have seen AI and technology take over a lot of officiating in other sports as well, that being soccer, football. Does golf have like officiate? I don't know. I mainly know soccer. I was actually going to make an entire video talking about how I think the NBA's attempt at using more technology and more cameras and more AI is ruining the aspect of officiating and fouls in the game. I understand that some people want the game to be the most accurate it could be. I understand that you want every call to be 100% correct. And if you want something to be 100% correct, you don't rely on the human eye. Instead, you rely on cameras and things that are way smarter than you. But my problem with it really stems from soccer using VAR or VAR. I don't really know how you say it. If you look at this play I'm showing you right now, this was called an offsides call. This, to the human eye, has a 0% chance of getting called offsides. And it was close, so they go back and review and check it out and whatever. And I understand that is good. But my point is, if they were to use this technology 24/7, stop the reviews, stop everything, and only rely on this, you would have to be pinpoint 100% toe exactly where it needs to be. Like, you cannot be imperfect. And to me, I feel like part of playing the sport of basketball or any sport in general is that not everything is always 100%. No one has to get every single call correct as long as it is consistent, just like what Mike Brown was saying. The other option that I do genuinely believe could fix this problem is letting the players be more physical. Now, this isn't me saying that we need to go back to the 80s and start fucking tackling other players on the floor. No, I don't care about any of that. I do truly care, though, about the fact that De'Aaron Fox got called for this foul by just having his hand on Damian Lillard's waist, which is just something that doesn't affect his shooting in any way. There's no way that should have been called a foul, and if you let the players be a little bit more physical and a little more lenient with it, I'm sure that stuff like this wouldn't get called. These small little tic-tac fouls wouldn't be a thing. And all of this goes without mentioning the player versus officials aspect of this game. Everyone on the court during a basketball game is an adult, okay? Unless you are maybe Scoot Henderson, I think he's like 19 or something like that. Still, he's an adult. So tell me why, when a player calls an official a motherfucker or a bitch, they get penalized for it. Like, can we please be serious? Why? Like, I just don't understand how, as an official, you take that as disrespect. I understand it may be rude. You might get your feelings hurt a little bit, but why are you ejecting players when they don't agree with your call? You should not be offended by that. Not to mention the emotions that come with really any sport. You see these players battling each other throughout the entire game, but at the end of the game, they're dabbing each other up. They're homies. They're fine. That's how this works. And for my final note for this video, when it comes to the NBA officials, I want to tell you something that I don't think many people know. Back when the NBA introduced the coaches challenge or the review rule or whatever the hell, things seemed great. It seemed like the officials got another chance to really look at the play and see if their call was correct or incorrect. I mean, you see them walk over and look at the monitor every single time. But I don't know if many people know that it's not actually up to them when it comes to an official review. The decision all boils down to this random ass building in New Jersey that has a ton of cameras, a ton of technology, and can see kind of sometimes the best result, which is just crazy. I mean, if I see it with my own eyes and I disagree with what the New Jersey Center says, I should be able to overturn that call, but the officials do not get that choice. So yeah, with that being said, that's really all I have. I don't think NBA officials should be getting hated on as much as they do. I just think there needs to be some rule changes and a little bit more consistency in the game. But yeah, yesterday was terrible. Damian Lillard hit a Dame time 3 on my team. That was miserable. That might be the lowest point of my life. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Be sure to like and subscribe. Comment down below your opinions. Do you think officials need to be fired? Do we get AIs and technology and cameras to take over? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Later.